Let's talk about anxiety. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that maybe. Let's talk about anxiety. Hey guys, welcome to a web series about anxiety, trauma, and our brain. Before we get started, let's just do a few disclosures. One is that this is not a counseling session. This is just some information for you guys to use and hope build your information and your knowledge about trauma, the brain, and anxiety. Please continue to see your mental health professional to continue doing your counseling sessions and gaining more information. So let's start by talking about our brains. So we use this hand-brain model to kind of demonstrate what trauma looks like in our brain. So this is our brain. This is our frontal lobe right here. We're thinking about just kind of like sitting right there in our head. And whenever we're thinking on a normal day, our brain is kind of all online. It's all working together. Things are firing all around, right? But then some things happen in our day and it kind of sends us to fight, or faint. So we fly, we run away, we fight, or we faint, we pass out. Or it could be freeze, where you just stop. So for today, instead of saying all four of those, because they're hard to say, I'm going to just say fight or flight. So here's our brain. We're going about normally, and then all of a sudden, fight or flight, something happens. And then what happens is the front part of our brain, our frontal lobes, that goes offline. It's no longer working. And that's because the back part of our brain, the older part of our brain, is a part of our brain that works on our heart rate, our food digestion, our breathing, things like that. So that part of our brain suddenly starts working, only that part of our brain starts working, and it helps us survive. So it tells us we need to run away, we have to fight something just to keep us alive, which is great because that has kept us alive for generations and generations and thousands of years. So that part of our brain is really, really useful. So whenever something happens, we're walking through our day thinking, philosophizing, deciding if we're going to eat dinner first or work on our homework. Are we going to go to the store, or do we need to save our money? That is all happening right here in our frontal lobes right there. And then when something happens, scares us, let's say a car passes by real quickly, right? Right there we are. We've got to learn that we have to run away from the car. So it's perfect. And when this happens, that makes our heart race faster, so then our blood can pump faster, and our oxygen starts getting into our muscles more, and our stomach and our intestines are like, we need to send sugar out to our muscles so that they can fight faster, we can run harder, or whatever we need to do. So our body's in 100% survival mode. So, for those people who have experienced trauma, this experience happens usually multiple times a day. And that's because our brain has gotten so good at finding those little triggers, finding those little symptoms of oh my gosh, this is going to happen. I need to really pay attention to my environment right now. And it could be very simple things like a color. Maybe we grew up in a house with an abusive parent, and the curtain on your bedroom door or on your bedroom window was blue. So maybe blue is a triggering color for you. Maybe the house that you grew up in had a candle that was always lit and it smelled like vanilla. Or maybe someone smoked and the smell of cigarettes can be a trigger. That's why smell is always very triggering to people and they're not really sure why. It's because that's just one of those things that your body's like, oh, I know that smell. That smell means something bad's getting ready to happen. So, we're walking through our day, normally. Vanilla candle, we smell it through a shop door. All of a sudden, we're like this, we're in a panic attack because our body is saying fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight, right? It goes saying you've got to protect yourself. We've got to go into survival mode. So, your front part of your brain goes offline. You can no longer make choices for yourself because you are here. You are only running or fighting. That's the only two choices that you have to make. And usually your body just makes those on their own. You don't even make that choice. So when people say, I can't talk myself out of a panic attack, that's 100% accurate because you can't. This part of your brain isn't working. If you were an MRI scanner, you would see that this part of your brain is dark. Nothing is happening during a panic attack. So that's why it's hard to talk yourself out of a panic attack. What you need to do is get this front part of your brain back online and firing with the rest of your brain. And the way to do that is using mindfulness exercises. And I know that's kind of a woo word, but it's just a way for you to get back into your environment in a very simple way. So you don't have to make decisions. It's just the most simple task you can do. So for a lot of people, that is breathing, because they can just count your breaths. It could be looking. It's using our senses, coming back to our senses, that helps us get our front part of our brain back online. So for example, we use come to your senses, and that's where you look at your environment, see something, smell something, hear something, feel something, taste something. So let's take 5 breaths and let's come to our senses real quickly. So we'll breathe in. See something. I see my certificate. Hear something. I'm hearing my music from the other room. Smell something. I have my diffuser on. I can smell that. Feel something. Okay, I'm going to feel my shirt. Taste something, and in this situation I have my water right here. So those are 5 things I can do real quickly, and it can get your brain settled back down. There's other breathing techniques you can use too, and we're going to have a whole video just on breathing techniques. But that's just a really simple one that you can use. Come to your senses. Hear it, see it, smell it, feel it, taste it. Real quickly. And that helps bring your body back down. Now, when your brain is back down and you can feel yourself breathing normally, then you can start saying, I'm in a safe space. Look around and take inventory of where you are. All right, I felt myself feel panicky. I've come to my senses. I'm on a street. It must have been that vanilla candle. No one is here to harm me. I am safe. And that's when you can start to talk your way out of your panic attack. So, hand brain. This is what keeps you alive, which is amazing, okay? But it's also the thing that can cause you to have panic attacks when there is no purpose for your fight or flight response. So when you feel that, start to come to your senses, get your brain back online, and then you can start to take inventory of the space around you. Alright guys, well thank you for enjoying my video. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below and I will try to respond back to you. Yeah, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.